Hello. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I processed and mixed my drum and bass for my Archetype Michelin Soar demo. I'm going to be starting with the drums. So before that, I'm going to show you guys what's going on my mix bus. So the mix bus is really where everything comes together. The sound. First thing I have running is Gullfoss. What this is, it's a dynamic EQ plugin, basically. I'll show you what it's doing off and on. You're really going to hear the difference in the snare hit and a bit of the cymbals, like really like just the way they resonate. So. It's really doing a lot, as you can see. If you don't have this plugin, you could do Pro and B and like Pro Q dynamics, but this basically just does both of those automatically, and that's why I love it so much. And if there's anything you should invest in, it would be this plugin. There's that. After that, I'm running into Virtual Mix Bus through VRM by Slate Digital. On Britain setting. This is actually from a guy named Buster Otoholm. This is where I stole this little thing from. And my friend does it too, so I mean, if everyone that's goated is doing it, I mean, I might as well, right? I might as well. So after that, I'm running a Pultec, boosting a bit of 10K. Let me turn it off and on so you can hear what it's doing. You're gonna notice that so far, the drums are really bright, and there's a reason for that, because what I'm about to get into now is where all of that gets decapitated. So this is FG grade. This is a compressor, fastest attack, fastest release. This is the threshold knob. Where you set this is depending on how you mixed your song. This is where I found that with my ears that it sounded the best. It was doing the best amount of compression, and it was doing the best work for this scenario. Ratio is always at 4. And then high pass filter. What I love about this compressor is this high pass filter function. It rolls off anything 100 hertz under. It's not taking away those frequencies, it's just making those frequencies exempt from being compressed by this plugin. So every time I would try to mix in the past without this plugin, I was always so like, I was trying to find a way to make that low end not compressed, because it just throws the whole mix out of whack whenever that happens. And this was the savior. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like off and on, and then I'll show you the high pass filter off and on. So here we go. This is really where all the sound comes. Now I'm going to turn this off, and you're going to hear how the compression responds now to the kick. Right? I mean, night and day diff. So yeah, that's that. And then virtual tape machines. Makes it a little more. I don't have it doing so much that it's crazy diff, but it does make a difference to that low range and middle area. Okay, so that's the mix bus. I'm going to turn all of that off now, and now I'm going to go to my drums. So I do all of my processing on everything, just on the individual tracks. When it comes to this, to be honest, this really isn't like top-down mixing. So I'm going to turn this off. And here we go. So this is the distressor, 6:1 ratio. As you can see, the attack and the release, you know. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Who cares? I'm going to show you what this is sounding like off and on. So off. Right. Mega epic. So now I'm running through this FGN EQ and a custom series EQ, and this is actually doing a lot. This is mainly making it brighter because since I'm mixing into the VTM, you know, The VTM and the FG gray really make the signal, like it really just cuts off the brightness. So I have to make it bright running through it because I'm mixed into that. So here's the kick bus. Turn everything off. Right, and then I'm going to go, I'm going to go explain what I'm doing on the individual samples. This kit is modern to massive. The whole thing is modern to massive kit. So here we go. So this is the kick raw. I think, right? Nope. I was like, doesn't sound raw. There we go. Now it's raw. There we go. So that's what it sounds like raw. Pro gate, making it just, you can hear what it's saying. Just making it shorter, really. Here we go. This is an EQ match, and these right here are me. These are just dynamic bands because I noticed the click was a little harsh and some boxiness I want to take away. So yeah, there's that. This is what it sounds like off and on. Right, really taking care of those low areas. A little bit of warm tube. This makes a slight difference when it's running through all the processing, but here, I mean, you can hardly tell what's going on. And then this, I got this from my friend. He did a little video explaining how he mixes, and I stole this from him. This is really a method to add like that pump bass effect, but in your kick. So this is where most of that kick sound is coming from, really. As you can hear, it just makes it sound so good. Kick sub, I'm really just I'm rolling off everything, yeah, just soloing out the sub area. All that click is gone. Because I mean, it's the sub section in the modern massive kit. And then 60 hertz boost. And the same thing again. So now, this is what my kick bus is doing. So this is rolling off 40K below, 40K, what the heck am I saying? 40 hertz below, oh my gosh. I'm talking too fast. You can tell I'm talking too fast because I just said that's 40K. This is for click, because I noticed there was some click that could be present. This is just taking away a little bit of the kick, because I increased it by too much there. And then just rolling off with a high filter. High shelf, I mean, not high filter. This is a multi-band processor. This is basically ducking the low end a little bit based on what I set this threshold to. Just because I noticed there was a little flubby coming through everything, so that's why I added that. Saturation really makes it warm because I have it on warm tube. Here's the distressor, 6:1 ratio, high pass. Both these lights turned on right here. As you can see, the attack and the release on everything on the drums, you're gonna see they're relatively the same. So yeah, slow attack, fast release. Chef's parallel particles. This is actually, I only do this when I do heavier songs, but for some reason it just sounded like it worked here. I guess just because I like using it. I like looking at it. It's fun to look at. It's basically just, it makes it a little phasey. And the sub here, adding a bit of it. Our bass, this basically just kind of like makes it more present. It's just like adding 40 right there on 40. And then Pro and B, this is for some low end punch. Buster Auto Home does this a lot. As you can see, I have it triggering off the high end because if I don't, it's not doing what I want it to. So this is why I put it on free and have it triggering off the click. And then Sooth, just taming some click. You know what I'm saying? Some tamage. Room, kick room. My room processing is the same for every single thing. So this kick room is gonna basically be the same setup on my snare room and my tom room. The cymbals is the only time where I don't use Kramer Pi, which is a compressor. So I'm gonna do these off and on. So this is an EQ match. This, I added this because my friend and Buster Autohome, they always have this on here. And when I EQ match, I don't know if this is supposed to be added with the EQ match. I don't know. I'm very new to EQ matching, so don't ask me too many questions on that. I couldn't really answer a lot of it. But this is an EQ match, and I had to add that. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be there, though, already. Saturn. Some saturation. And then the compressor. And then Valhalla room. And together with the kick bus, this is what the kick is now sounding like. Just like it just punches you in the face, dude. Here's the snare now. So again, turning everything off. And we're gonna do top A. So here's top A. Processing. So, virtual mix rack, this is what I'm doing. I'm really just making, I don't think I'm cutting anything this time. No, I'm really just boosting mainly. And then this is just a gate. It's a little harsh. UAD, distressor. Now we're cooking, right? Here, I'm actually doing fast attack, slow release on 3:1 ratio. Really the goal is just to get it to compress by 2 dB here. And then making the attack shorter. Well, not the attack, like the sustain shorter. Like I just want it to be, I just want the hit to happen and that's it. And then a little teeny bit of saturation. So that's top A. Here's the overheads. By the way, if my mic sounds really bad, I'm so sorry, guys. All the money went to the mixing plugins, not the setup. Okay. So maybe in the future I'll be able to come back here. This is actually off here. So I'm pretty sure I just copied and pasted this. It just seemed to work. And then UAD 4:1 ratio this time. Same attack and release settings, but just by more dB. Just compress it by more dB. Right? And then making it shorter again. And then a little bit of saturation once more. I'm pretty sure this is basically doing nothing actually. I'm pretty sure I ended up rolling it off even more because I didn't like what it was doing. So I mean, I could practically just have that turned off, but I didn't turn it off. So I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't turn it off, but it's there. Per Q4, this is just, this is the room now. This is what it's doing. Just rolling off anything below here because I mean that's not necessary, especially for room. I actually don't know what this is doing. I don't think that should be there. I might have copied and pasted this from the snare bus. Let me actually see if I. That's an EQ match, by the way. What you just saw there. Oh, yeah. I guess I did just copy and paste it. Huh. Okay. Well, you don't need to do this, but this is for sure what I added for room specifically. Saturn 2. Some saturation. Now, this is, I could have totally just put the nuke setting on Distressor and then had Kramer Pi, L2, and then Valhalla Room. But I guess I done forgot that I had the Distressor plugin. So you don't really, I mean, if you want to, you could just put Distressor on nuke and then just Kramer Pi, L2, which is a limiter. So this is, you could do that instead if you have the plugin. But if you don't, this is the method. L2 stereo. Now this is a oh, now it's reading. Okay. For some reason it wasn't reading earlier. But this is what it's doing. Just making it a little louder. And then Valhalla Room. And then Pro Q4 just rolling off low end that the Valhalla Room generates on the verb. So yeah, that's the snare samples. Now we're gonna go to the bus. So as you can hear, doesn't sound too promising. So this is an EQ match, getting rid of a lot of the lows. I think that's an EQ match. Pretty sure it is. Maybe I did some extra notching, because I'm pretty sure the ones that I turned off are from the EQ match. And so this is part EQ match, part me notching down a lot of attack. Distressor. Makes it sound less poop from where I had it, right? VTM. Because I got rid of a little too much low end. Soothe. Really needed soothe because of how strong those hits were happening. And then here is this that I copied and pasted on the room. Rolling this off. Because frankly it's too strong, and that's where most of that flub is coming from. This I notched down because, let me just turn it off. Right? Just gets rid of a little bit of that impact on that low end, that punch. Because I really don't want it, especially for like this style, you don't want that. You just want that kind of snare sound, more or less. There's no toms in this song, so we can just skip that. Now onto cymbals, which is honestly the easiest thing to process for me. I never have to do a lot. As you can see, it's only like 2 or 3 plugins that I run on everything, except for the room, because I mean there's extra steps for the room obviously, but honestly even then it's literally just, yeah, it's literally just what I do on every other room mic. But like the actual processing is just two little things, and I'm not even doing much on those either. So, yeah, dude, whatever that boy Nolly's doing for the Get Good libraries, man, he's doing, those cymbals are always smacking, I'll tell you. So Go Foss, taming by 30%, brightening by 72%, and I'm recovering 45% because of the actual impact, like the actual hit of the cymbal. That's really what that's doing, just bringing that in. Because it's taming it, but doing so, it takes away that hit. So recovering 45% is just me wanting to recover that, the hit that you're hearing of the hat. And then just a high shelf, just boosting by a dB. turn this off now. So here's the hats. Here we go. Here's the hats. You can see this just isn't necessary. I'm just soloing out the range where the cymbals has this presence, right? And then cutting that off because, I mean, just anything above there, you're not even going to hear it. It's not even musical. And then taming 4K, that just screechy frequency that everybody hates, dude. And then this is just taming some chime from the cymbals. There's no ride, so we can skip that. I'm pretty sure there's nothing even on the ride because I just didn't need to process anything. Same with the toms. I'm pretty sure the tom, if there is processing on the toms, they're probably just copied and pasted from another template. Or from another song that I had already mixed that had toms in it. So yeah. That's the overheads. This is what this Pro Q4 is doing. Right? Rolling off and then some big tamage on 4K. Multiband. Just compressing those. And then once more, getting rid of those chimes, soothing those chimes. And then the room. Taming that. Oh. Okay. And then MB. I'm really just compressing down the low end, getting rid of that impact, like the hat, like the hit of the hat. That's really all I'm taking away here. I'm not getting rid of much of the high end at all because I already did that with the Q4. Okay, this is where it's glitched. This is actually doing something, but for some reason it's not reading here. I really don't know why. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could just fix that by reloading the plugin, but I ain't gonna do that, G. So this is just doing this. It might not sound like there's much of a difference because there honestly might not be the way I have this level. But yeah, here's Valhalla Room. There's a bit of a difference you can hear in there. And just so you know that it's actually doing something, I'm not just crazy, I'm just gonna put the threshold all the way up. So it is doing something, I promise. But I honestly don't remember why I have it there. I guess just because I put this on everything, I was just like, I'll just put it on here too. And then rolling off some low end that's generated from the room, plugging in the Valhalla Room. And that's everything. Sweet. So all in all, this is the drum sound. Right. Now I'll show you all the bass because I promised in the caption drum and bass. So I'm gonna go over the bass. I'm going to turn this off because I hate hearing the production guitar peek through every time I unsolo it. So here we go. Bass. I'm gonna turn off the bus. Now we're gonna listen to the DI. So for bass, I am using Umansky bass, as you can see right here. I have the map. My DI processing. This is a gritty tone we're aiming for. So the DI. It's gonna sound pretty bad. So you've been warned. Watch your ears, pal. So this is what the DI. Right? This is the FGN EQ. As you can see, I'm scooping mids mainly, and that's it. Compression as well, vintage FET. So this is like an 1176, right? Pretty sure. is this. I'm scooping again, and I'm also taking away some low end. And all of the bad noise is gonna come from this. Right? That's what the DI is sounding like right now. So this is grit 1. Solo that out. Here's grit 1. So my good friend Rikak, this is his signature plugin. He gave it to me for free to test it out. I made a little thing forever ago for it as well, mainly for the fuzz feature. Just layered it over a guitar. But this is what I'm doing with it. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what this is doing actually. I put the blend all the way up, but I think to my ears, it rolled off some low end, brought in some like mid-range presence. That's what I think it's doing. That's what it sounded like to my ear whenever I was mixing this tone. Rolling, just soloing out really just the mid-range. Because this is the, you know how on Parallax X there's the mid overdrive knob, and on the high end there's the high overdrive knob. I just hit the mic, I'm so sorry. This is really like the mid, think of this as the mid knob of the Parallax plugin. Here is JST Heat Hellraiser. This is the demo. I really want to buy this. I'm using the free trial here. I really want to buy this. It's so good for the grit tone. Right, this is what I'm doing here. 25% bright, 80% heat, 16, 32% saturation on these bands right here, or distortion on those bands right there. And then Ozone Imager, stereoizing just those high ones, but everything on the low end is strictly mono. And it'll forever be strictly mono. Okay, and grit 2. So this is the high end knob on Parallax X, basically. So Saturn 2, heavy saturation, sounds horrible, right? Now we run the cab, which I'm using Cali cabs. I always use this setup, 57 and a M160. That'll forever be what I use on that plug-in there. That's what that sounds like. And then this is an EQ, some notching. Because this is the high end. We want that high end to talk to us, man. Front B. And then C. So that's what both grits sound like, and this is what both grits sound like together. Alright, and here's the sub. So I'm rolling off everything, yeah. So I'm rolling everything off. Limiter. Just making it louder, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And Pro Q4, because it was a little flubby, and I'm just singling out this sub range here. Another Pro Q, this is taming it because it's a little too much sub coming through, so this is just taming that. I'm pretty sure these are just because I copied and pasted this and then I just added that, so you don't need to do this. I mean, this is just because I copied and pasted it, I'm pretty sure. Or it could be doing something, let's see. Nah, that's not doing nothing, bro. And then Soothe. So that what everything sounds like together so far is this. So here's the bass bus now. Q4, I noticed it was a little flubby here, so it's just taking away a little bit of 105. Scooping. And high shelf, just making it, just giving it more presence. Yeah. More presence for sure. This is just for presence. That whole setup there. Pro Q4, so I'm boosting the low end, and this is a dynamic band, so whenever it gets too bad, it just ducks back down to where I have it you know, to where I had it before I boosted the volume here, and then it basically just slowly rises back up. So there's more low end being added, but it's also ducking itself. And just for some presence, I'm pretty sure once more. Saturn 2. Oh, actually, let me turn this off and on. Probably forgot to do that. So that's what that's doing. One tape saturation. VTM. This is on everything, guys. So buy this plugin if you don't have it. Invest. GoFos, VTM. Enough said. So here we go. Off and on. Just breaking in that low end and some mid area. And then a little bit of, I guess I wanted to add this. Just ended up happening while I was mixing. I decided to add a little bit more stereo. Maybe it was because of the kick and how the bass was responding to the guitar that I wanted to add a little bit more. And then the sidechain to the kick. So, that being said, bass and drums sound like this. Right? So yeah, there's that, guys. I hope you found this a little helpful, or at least a bit entertaining, just to see, you know, people's chains and methods. This is really it. This is what I do all the time, and I hope some of these tricks you can apply to your own stuff and level up your mixing game just by a little bit. So that's about it.